Nostalgia is an amazing thing. It's like a drug that allows you to see shitty things as beautiful and amazing works of art. Wait a minute, that's just drugs. So, let's talk a bit about nostalgia. Nostalgia is defined as a feeling of being homesick or an excessive yearning for something that occurred in the past. Essentially, nostalgia is what you feel when you look at that old rusted slide on the playground, and instead of seeing the old rusted slide, you see all the joy you had with it as a child. And then you realize you're a grown-ass man standing in the middle of a playground when the state specifically told you not to. Oops. In a sense, nostalgia is our way of remembering the past in a very positive way, and sometimes to cope with a negative emotion we have in the present by masking it with happy thoughts of our favorite cartoon from childhood. Speaking of childhood cartoons, this is what the video is about. Well, not really the cartoon bit, but, the childhood part. Essentially, it's a look back on the beauty that is childhood movies. No, not that kind of childhood movie. That really requires a video in and of itself. Childhood movies are one of the strongest sources of nostalgia among adults, along with video games, comics, and books. Really in no particular order. It's a weird kind of nostalgia too, because almost every time you're washed over by a feeling of happiness when you watch these films, regardless of how they hold up to the current standards of filmmaking. I mean, look at that. Just look at it. Look at it. Yet, there doesn't seem to be a necessity for an explanation for why we feel this way. It's just, magical to say the least. That regardless of what you're feeling, you can always just fire up the old Home Alone and laugh, cry, and gasp yourself into a stupor. Because that's what childhood films do. Normally, I'd have some kind of coin-style double-sided analysis of the pros and cons of the constant enjoyment of childhood films and nostalgia, but I genuinely think it's better to just leave the phenomenon as it is. I mean, with how dark the world can get sometimes, it's just better to be able to get away from it. I mean, come on a micro side, so many things can happen in a day that can ruin your mood, and sometimes being able to pull back and find enjoyment in something so simple, it's really enough to brighten your mood. The beauty of childhood films and the type of nostalgia that they carry is really the ability to bring us back to a time where it was okay to be innocent and stupidly naive, because everything was somehow great, and you were allowed to feel as happy as you wanted without any care in the world. Because as an adult, you can't really do that. I mean, at least not all of the time. Now, whether or not it's good to be blinded with nostalgia, it's really up to you, but my point is, the present is sometimes really crummy. And this statement can apply to anyone from any generation. The beauty of childhood movies is that they're a release for many people, a release from, a type of sadness and a disappointment that they have. Whether or not the acting holds up or the animation is polished, it really doesn't matter. We watch and love these childhood movies not for the quality of it as a movie, but because they're a safe space for us, a space that lets us forget the problems that life constantly tries to bang into us. The beauty of childhood movies is that they bring out the child that every one of us wants to go back to. Because being a child, and the simplicity and innocence of it, that's true bliss. Hey boys and girls, if you like that video, I have a bunch of other videos. There's probably going to be 2 of them on the screen right now, so if you want to watch, go ahead. I'm just saying, man, if you really like it, got some commentary stuff, yeah.